All right, let's talk about force feedback. I've been mentioning this in my videos. It seems to have people intrigued, so let's just get to it. There's two easy ways to show this, and everyone's going to have their own opinion. They're going to have what they feel works best for them. I know that all my fast friends that have won Coke Series and Pro Series races, they don't run force feedback. They're able to use their eyes and their ears in order to tell what the car is doing. For someone like me, I need that feel in the wheel. So I'm slower without force feedback because it's not that I'm slower, it's just I have no control over the car. So I'm making more mistakes. This is for oval. Road racing's a whole different story, and I know a lot of them do turn force feedback on for that. It's weird. I don't understand it, but it's what they do. So let's show a few key things for force feedback. And these are very obvious when you think about it. I've turned the wheel on so that you can kind of see. I'm going to crank force feedback up to 11.5. That's about even for where things are on paved for me. Now, I'm just sitting here moving my wheel back and forth, and I have resistance in it. So the fastest that I can turn my wheel and correct something right now is that. Turn force feedback off, and it's just as fast as I can move my hands. So right there, you have an advantage without force feedback because you can quickly correct for something. You've also slower turns, quicker turning, lots of different things. Does it make it better or worse? That's up to your personal preference. But there's a clear advantage of not having force feedback when you can turn the wheel that quick, when in real life you would have friction working against you. And I don't think there's any way that iRacing can correct that, because then you would be getting a slower in-game wheel than what you're getting out of game. So there's no way that they can reduce that advantage, if it's an advantage. Obviously, it's going to be an advantage to be able to correct that quick, but also when you're going fast, there's less resistance as well. So it's one of those up in the air. Does it really make a difference? So next thing is just how force feedback works. The only way that it can tell you there's a force is by turning the wheel. So I'm going to just drive over these without my hand on the wheel, and you're going to see that the wheel gets turned even though I'm not turning it, because that's what the force is trying to convey that to you, and so it's turning the wheel. So now let's reset, turn force feedback down, off, and we're going to go over these same bumps, and I will let go of my wheel, and you're going to see the in-game wheel does not move at all unless I am moving it. So only time the wheel's moving is when I'm moving it. And this is where the real advantage comes in. People who are able to be very smooth on the wheel, especially at Talladega, Daytona, none of the bumps are affecting your front tires. And you're just driving around, dead wheel, and there's nothing changing. It's only your inputs. So if you factor in steering, heat, you got the heat from turning the tires, you got wear from turning the tires, all of that comes into play. And at places like Talladega and Daytona, especially in qualifying, you can gain a massive advantage by running a dead wheel, because you're not fighting what you would normally be fighting in real life. So even if we come back here and just look at the tire as I'm going, only time that the tire is turning is when I'm turning the wheel. But if we were to go let's just do this one more time with force feedback. The only way that force feedback can tell you something is if it's turning your wheel. Now, obviously, you can hold it and you're not going to get as much, but it's still turning just a little bit. And so that's why most people, when they say that they're struggling keeping the car straight or too much speed, or they're not getting up to speed, it's either force feedback's way too high and they're fighting that wheel way too much, or they are way too big of field of view. So it's a very simple concept, but a lot of people don't think about it. Why you would ever pay this much money that we do for a game and equipment and then just end up turning force feedback off. You know, I guess that's part of racing, trying to get every little advantage you can out of things. But, you know, for me, I have to have force feedback because that is one of the ways that I'm able to tell what the car is doing. The fast guys are able to just use their eyes and ears. I need a bit of feel to make up for what I'm lacking in seat of pants feel. So hopefully that explains what I've been talking about. Nice short simple video. There is no right or wrong answer. Whatever you're fast with, that's the best option for you. But it's kind of one of those things that a lot of people don't think about, but it can gain you an advantage. I'm telling you, qualifying Talladega and Daytona, don't have the force feedback on, and I bet you set some way better laps than what you were previously. But if you're not comfortable with it, don't try to race that way, because obviously you're not going to be able to catch a slide, bumps from behind. You're not going to be able to feel all that stuff that you normally do, and that's going to cause you issues. So yeah, hopefully that's a helpful video. It's one of those things that everyone's going to have their own opinion on. Those are just the facts, though, showing it the easiest way I can, and have some quicker corrections without force feedback, and you're just essentially avoiding the bumps in the steering column when you're not running force feedback. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you go try it and see if it makes any difference for you. But just one little way to gain an advantage over competition, especially in fixed series. Dirt, you want to run low force feedback if you're running it at all. I only run 4. Paved, I run 10. But yeah, let me know what you find out in your own testing. So thanks for watching.